Let's troubleshoot the debug executable specified in the debug profile does not exist error in Visual Studio. This frustrating message pops up when Visual Studio can't find the program it's supposed to run for debugging. Here's a breakdown of common causes and how to fix them. 1. Check the project's output directory. Visual Studio needs to know where your compiled program is located. First, verify that you've successfully built your project. In Visual Studio, go to Build Solution. After a successful build, find the output directory. This is usually found within your project's folder, often in a subfolder named bin, and then debug or release depending on your build configuration. The path to your executable, for example, myprogram.exe, will be within this folder. If the build failed, look at the error messages in the output window to identify and fix the build errors. Double-check your project's properties to ensure the output directory is correctly set. 2. Verify the debug profile settings. In Visual Studio, open the project properties. Navigate to the Debug tab. Under Start Action, ensure that the Start External Program option isn't selected. If it is, and you intend to debug your project, switch it back to Start Project. Also, double-check that the path specified in the Start External Program field, if you're using it for a different scenario, actually points to a valid executable file. If you selected the Start Project option, make sure the correct project is being selected for debugging. 3. Clean and rebuild the project. Sometimes intermediate files or inconsistencies in your project files can cause this error. A clean and rebuild forces Visual Studio to recreate everything from scratch. In Visual Studio, go to Build Clean Solution, followed by Build Rebuild Solution. This often resolves issues stemming from outdated or corrupted build artifacts. 4. Check for conflicting projects or solutions. Ensure you're debugging the intended project. If you have multiple projects or solutions open, accidentally running the debug configuration for the wrong project can cause this error. Close any unnecessary projects or solutions and try again. 5. Examine the project file. Esperage. The project file, a XML file, contains all the configuration details. In rare cases, there may be issues within this file. You can open it in a text editor, carefully, to see if anything seems amiss, such as incorrect paths or missing references. However, unless you're extremely comfortable editing XML, it's often better to start by trying the earlier solutions. 6. Restart Visual Studio. A simple restart of Visual Studio can often clear up temporary glitches that might be interfering with the debugging process. If none of the above worked, try closing and reopening Visual Studio. 7. Reinstall Visual Studio or the necessary workloads. If problems persist, a complete reinstall of Visual Studio, or just the relevant workloads like the .NET desktop development workload, may be required. This is a last resort, but it can help eliminate any underlying issues with Visual Studio's installation. Remember to back up your projects before a reinstall. Following these steps systematically will most likely resolve the debug executable specified in the debug profile does not exist error and get your debugging session back on track. Remember to save your project frequently.